Champaign County just got a failing grade, a big fat F, on a key social distancing scorecard. But I'm going to explain why that doesn't necessarily mean we're doing anything wrong with respect to COVID-19 here in Champaign County, and really why it is that that same failing grade actually is an indication of how strong our local economy is likely linked to an unprecedented construction boom, and is a solid indication of how we are better poised than most to bounce back in the aftermath of COVID-19. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Difanis. I'm broker-owner of RE/MAX Realty Associates with offices in Champaign, Mahomet, and Monticello, Illinois. Cell phone location aggregation has become a very big deal in the last several weeks as it's been used to help study, model, and predict the spread of COVID-19. A few weeks back, you may have seen a well-publicized video that showed the spring break beachgoers on the beaches of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as this massive glowing hotspot of 5,000 people, and then you got to see that massive glowing hotspot disperse and watch all of those little points of light fan out across the country, presumably creating a pathway for the spread of COVID-19 to parts far and wide. Well, similarly, we've had another data aggregator, Unicast, that has used similar technology to create a social distancing scorecard. So let's take a look. You can select the entire country. You can look at state by state, and we are going to zero in on Champaign County, and we are currently getting a failing grade. So let me talk about how those grades are created so you understand what we're looking at. The idea behind this is it starts with a baseline date that is on February 24th. The only important thing about that date is it is prior to any jurisdiction having a stay-at-home order, and it is prior to any major impact on the domestic economy from COVID-19. And the idea is that under a stay-at-home order, if people are supposed to reduce how much they're circulating and mixing with other people, that the more a given population reduces its average mobility as compared to the baseline, the better it's doing and the higher it scores. So if a given population, in this case the Champaign County population, reduces its mobility by 25% or less, that is deemed a failing grade. Reductions that are more dramatic get progressively higher scores. So as you look at this graph, you'll see that starting before the stay-at-home order took effect, in Illinois it took effect on March 22nd, but we saw a nosedive in mobility before then. Well, that happens to be when spring break started, and actually it was during spring break week that the stay-at-home order was announced, and that the university announced that it would not be having classes in person after break, and further encouraged students to remain at wherever their permanent home base is. So we did, in fact, see tens of thousands of people leave our local economy. Furthermore, the University of Illinois campus had the overwhelming majority of its employees convert to working remotely, and the University of Illinois has not missed a penny of payroll in all of this. So the 14,000 employees of the university here in the Champaign-Urbana metro area have all continued to get their incomes completely uninterrupted. It is worth noting that the president of the University of Illinois just in recent days has indicated that the cost that COVID-19 has inflicted upon the University of Illinois is at $167 million. Now that sounds huge for a relatively small metro area, but that's spread across all three campuses, and even that sum of money is only 2.4% of the $7 billion annual budget for the University of Illinois. So when you take into account that we had emptied the University of Illinois campus of tens of thousands of people, but also we had emptied out the area that is the densest area of population in our metro area, and we had an awful lot of our employees throughout the rest of the economy working from home, you'll still note that through the month of April, there's a fairly steady baseline level of mobility that, as you can see, is not that dramatically reduced on most days from that baseline figure in February before all of this hit. And then you get into May and you see that we actually fully recover to the baseline and go above it. But that doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong. So what does that mean? Well, the second biggest employer in the local economy is healthcare. The Carle Health Network employs 7,000 people locally, and then we have numerous other healthcare entities besides that employ hundreds and hundreds more. Well, healthcare did take a short-term hit. We obviously had a reduction in office visits and people going to convenient care and people not scheduling elective surgeries for a period of several weeks. So Carl resumed elective procedures back on May 11th and are now working through a backlog of hundreds of such procedures. So you're seeing more of our healthcare workforce back into its normal routine, and of course, more patients that are back into their normal routine. But then you look at our construction boom, which is an often overlooked aspect of the local economy. We currently have somewhere near $1 billion of ongoing construction projects, and very importantly, those have continued uninterrupted, and in fact, in some ways, have probably continued less impeded with the campus population significantly reduced. So I'm not going to give you an exhaustive list. I'm just going to give you a highlights list of the construction sites that I've driven by in just the last couple of days, so you can have a look at just how dramatic that is. There's the $75 million instructional building going up next to the engineering library on Springfield Avenue. There's the $48 million Siebel Design Center that's going up on 4th Street near the College of Business and the College of Fine and Applied Arts. There's the $41 million Sidney Lou Mechanical Engineering Building, the $77 million ongoing Illinois Street Residence Hall's dining facility. There's the $20 million track and soccer stadium going up just off of St. Mary's Road on the south edge of campus. There's the $15.9 million renovation of the Medical Sciences Building, which is now home to the new engineering-based College of Medicine that is the newest college on this local campus. There's the ongoing $46.9 million of multimodal corridor enhancement, aka MCOR, road construction work largely grant funded. There's the $13 million expansion of the convention center at the I Hotel. There's the new building that's just gone up at the Illinois Research Park on the south edge of campus. There's the hub at 6th and Green, right in the heart of campus town, a 17-story high-rise that's going to be retail on the first floor and residences above. There's the 12-story Core Spaces mixed-use high-rise that's just getting underway, being built on Daniel Street right across from the Psychology Building. That will be first-floor retail. The university has already committed to leasing 2 additional floors and then residential above that. And on top of all of this campus construction, we have more than $180 million of ongoing construction and building renovation happening within the Unit 4 Champaign Public School District. So we're talking about somewhere close to $1 billion of ongoing construction projects. And all of the tradesmen are exempt from the stay-at-home order. So these projects continue and the workers continue and the paychecks continue. Through that lens, you start to see how, in fact, in Champaign County, we have drastically reduced the greatest risk for spreading COVID-19 by having tens of thousands of our students disperse back to their homes, while so much of our local economy continues unimpeded. Now, I don't want to understate the impact to our small businesses. If you were deemed non-essential, you were completely shut down and have spent 2 months with zero revenue and all of your normal bills to pay, and that is devastating. If, however, you have been able to hold it together and be able to reopen your doors when the restrictions lift, the key difference here in the Champaign metro area is we should see the customers with money in their pockets ready, willing, and able to come back when the doors reopen. So our real estate market is bearing this out. In mainstream market segments, things are continuing to move fast and furious. I'm recording this video on Memorial Day weekend. I'm anticipating another 3, maybe 4 weeks of fast action still happening before we start to see a usual subsiding of peak season as we head into the later part of the summer. As always, I welcome your feedback. I welcome your criticisms and comments if you keep them polite and civil. And as always, thank you so much for watching.